What is up, you guys? My name is Elias and I love movies. Because Valentine's Day is this week, I thought I would make a Valentine's Day video. And because I already did a Valentine's Day video where I talk about some of my favorite romantic movies, this show wanted to do something a little bit differently. These movies involve two characters that are the best of friends, both being males. Obviously, they're bros. So what do you say we get to the list and talk about my 14 favorite bromance movies? 1, 2, 3.
Get a movie house!
First one on this list is Wedding Crashers. From beginning to end, you see how close both of these guys are, and you see the chemistry that they have, which is perfect. In the movie Wedding Crashers, not only do you see them slowly fall in love with other characters, but you also see them sort of realize how much they actually love each other. Oh, Bradley Cooper is also in this movie, and he plays like the biggest asshole, and he does it perfect. They were perfectly casted for this movie. They have perfect chemistry, and just seeing what they're going through and the conversations that they have with each other or with other people are just perfect. You can really sense that they really balance each other out. Next one on this list is Cheech and Tom. They are both iconic characters that I'm sure we all know about, and I love every single one of their movies. You honestly never know what they're gonna get into next because those are the type of characters that they are. Not only do we not know what they're gonna get into next, but they also don't know what they're gonna get into next. It's almost like they wake up every single day and whatever happens, happens. But they do know one thing: they will always be together. They're both like the biggest potheads ever, and they're extremely slow, but together it's enough smarts to get by. Does that make sense? Next one that I want to talk about is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. A lot of people know about this movie, but not a lot of people have seen it, and it's a classic. Robert Redford and Paul Newman have the perfect chemistry together, and it makes perfect sense that they would do a movie like this. The movie is about friendship and the things that they are going through together. I love the way they bicker, they fight back and forth like they are literally a married couple, and it's perfect because you have the one that's always serious and always grumpy and angry, and then you have the other one that seems to joke around a lot. He's just a lot more laid back, and it's just the perfect combination that they can easily balance each other out. You can also tell that nobody gets these two the way they get each other. It's perfect seeing them on screen, and I enjoy this movie every single time I watch. Next one is Bill and Ted. It's really difficult to picture one without the other because seeing them on screen and seeing everything that they do, they have to do together. My favorite thing about these two is the fact that no matter what they go through, everything is excellent, everything is cool, and it doesn't matter how much a normal person would freak out, they think it's just another fun adventure. And it's probably the only way to get through the things that they go through, is to just take it and go along with the ride. Watching these movies for the first time, you will literally sit there and be like, is this really happening? And is it really happening to them? And then you stop and think, are they really gonna handle this situation like that? If you guys haven't seen Bill and Ted and you're looking for an excellent, fun, adventure type of movies, then that's something you definitely have to check out. I promise you, it is hilarious, and in my opinion, it's one of Keanu Reeves' best roles. Next one is Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. I know every single movie that I talk about the chemistry that those two have. All of these movies have awesome chemistry, and that's what makes them so great. Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny is almost a musical, but you kind of forget that it is because the music just blends in so well with the story. My favorite thing about this movie is the struggle that they go through to reach the goal that they have made for themselves. The way that they meet, you just know that they were meant for each other, and it's also really hilarious. And in the movie, their friendship is also tested, which makes for a really good bromance. Also, the devil himself is in this movie during a heavy metal standoff. It's played by Dave Grohl from Nirvana and from the Foo Fighters, and he does an amazing job. You also almost can't recognize him. I had to watch the special features to realize that it was Dave Grohl. But Dave Grohl definitely plays one of my favorite devils on screen. Next one on this list is one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen, How High. Just like I said about Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, the way that these two meet, Redman and Method Man, is absolutely brilliant. As soon as they meet, you can tell that these two were meant for each other. One of them has weed and the other one has the blunt, and together they can create a hot box out of their car. It just goes to show that each one has something that the other one needs, and together they're complete, I guess you can say. You also have one that's really smart and can take certain things very seriously, while you have the other one that is a lot more laid back and sort of thinks everything is a joke and can also take everything a little bit too seriously. Like I said about every other movie, these two have awesome chemistry together. Go to school high, you take your test high, and you get high scores. Next one on this list might be one of the funniest movies that I've seen, but it's also extremely emotional. End of Watch is such an amazing movie. If you guys have not seen End of Watch, make it a must watch, because this is one of those movies that is highly necessary to watch. The relationship that these two have is amazing. Just seeing them go through the struggles of being in the streets and being cops for a living, it's almost like no matter what happens, you know that they will always be there for each other no matter what. And you can really sense that just seeing them have conversations and seeing them go through everyday life experiences and at work experiences. You can really tell that a very strong bond is there. It's not necessarily a comedy like all of the other movies that I'm talking about, but it's definitely one to check out because you can really sense the bromance that is there throughout the whole entire film. This next one is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I Love You Man might be the definition of a bromance movie. A lot of the movies that I'm talking about involve a bromance, but the movies aren't necessarily about their friendship. You can just see their friendship throughout the movie, but in the movie I Love You Man, the actual film is about their friendship. It's about their relationship and how it starts and how it grows. It's called I Love You Man because you see how that love progresses till the point to where they express the love for each other. People always say that opposites attract, and in this story, that is exactly what happened. They're just both very, very different people, but they have the same interest, except that one of them doesn't really know how to show it, but the other one brings out the life out of him and makes him the person that he's always wanted to be. There's so many moments where I had to stop and think, am I really watching this movie? Because it feels like it's a romantic comedy, but it is, even though it involves two male characters. It's just a lot of fun and very, very heartwarming. If you guys haven't seen I Love You Man, check it out. It is the perfect bromance movie. The next one that I want to talk about is one that is very hard not to put on this list. I've been asking a lot of people about bromance movies, and even though many people name different movies, this is one that seems to make like every single list. Dumb and Dumber is hilarious and it's something that everyone should watch at least once. If both of these guys were to live separate lives, there is no way that they could ever survive in the real world. Each one is equally slow or dumb, but together they have enough smarts to survive in this world. Just like I said about Cheech and Tom. The awesome thing about Dumb and Dumber is that not only do you see how slow they are, you see that no one on earth could possibly understand these two, but they actually understand each other perfectly. Their friendship is also tested, which is awesome because you see how much they actually love each other and how much they actually need each other to survive. It's really hard to picture one without the other because, in my opinion, these two are one and always will be. The next one is one that really surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did, but I ended up absolutely loving it. 21 Jump Street, of course, it's awesome. Not much that I can say about this movie because I feel like everyone has seen it. Just like other movies that I've named on this list, it's really cool to see two opposites attract because that always makes for a really good comedy and it makes for a really good romantic comedy. Yeah, at first they don't really get along, but throughout the movie, the more they learn about each other and the more they learn about themselves, you see that friendship grow out of something that wasn't there. And the whole entire time you're sort of cheering for them because you want to see that friendship grow. In the movie, they realize what is most important, so they decide to put their differences aside and sort of help each other out. And this friendship gets so strong that you can just sense that nobody in this world could ever break it. I know I'm making it sound like it's a little bit more serious than it actually is, but it really is a really good comedy. It's hilarious and the friendship that these two have is perfect. These next two characters that I'm going to name are very popular and I'm sure we've all heard of them. Jay and Silent Bob are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. I almost didn't put them on this list because I was trying to think of movies that are actually based on their friendship, And Jay and Silent Bob don't really have that. But it's really hard to think about bromances without thinking about Jay and Silent Bob, because they're always together no matter what Kevin Smith movie you're watching. And they're always going to be the same characters, they're always going to be together, and they're always going to be up to something together. And just like I said about every other movie, these two have the perfect chemistry. And I mean that. Yes, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are best friends in real life, and I love that because you can really see the chemistry on screen. And again, just like all of these other characters, they balance each other out perfectly, because you have the one that sort of doesn't have any common sense, and then you have the other one that has all of the common sense. I think it's absolutely brilliant that Kevin Smith came up with these characters. And the fact that you have one that never shuts up, and then you have one that never says anything, is perfect. But whenever Silent Bob does say something, that's when you really need to pay attention, because he usually has very, very important things to say. This next one is another movie that really surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did, and now again, it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Ted is amazing, okay? I can't ever get tired of this movie. I'm not a big fan of fart jokes or bathroom jokes, but whenever it comes to this movie, I can put it aside because everything else makes up for it. I mean, I never actually thought that a movie involving a grown man and a teddy bear being best friends and getting drunk and high together would be awesome. And my God, is it fantastic. I mean, truth is, I had a teddy bear whenever I was a little kid that I was very attached to, and so do my kids. And I can only imagine that if that teddy bear would have came to life when I was a kid and we would have grown together, we would most likely be extremely close also. So of course this movie makes sense. These two have been together their whole entire lives pretty much, so of course no one else is going to understand this friendship, and no one is going to understand them more than they understand each other. It's also your typical story where a girl gets involved in the middle of a really good friendship, and that just makes for a really good story because their friendship is tested, and you see how much they actually love each other and how much they need each other, to the point to where you learn that nothing could ever separate them because they are one and always will be. If you guys haven't seen Ted and you don't mind a teddy bear like being extremely perverted, drinking and getting high all day, then this is one you definitely have to check out, because it's awesome. This next movie, if you for some reason do not like it, you might not have a heart. Not only is the bucket list really funny, but there's a lot of moments that are just filled with so much emotion. Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson were meant to make this movie because the chemistry that they have, just like every single movie that I'm talking about in this video, is perfect. It's awesome seeing them together on screen. And also the characters that they play, Jack Nicholson is like a huge ass, and Morgan Freeman is a guy that just has a really big heart. They're both really sick and decide to write a bucket list, which is a list of things that they want to do before they die. And because Jack Nicholson has like all of the money in the whole entire world, they decide to go on this adventure together. So just like a lot of movies that I talked about on this list, they are complete opposite. And seeing them go on this adventure together and not only get to know each other, but get to know themselves, learn a lot of things about themselves, it's really cool and very moving. It's just one of those movies that even though there might be some sad and emotional moments, it'll still put a smile on your face, and it's worth checking out. The last movie that I want to talk about, not only is it my favorite bromance movie, but it's actually my #1 favorite comedy of all time. Superbad to me is like the greatest comedy ever. I absolutely love this movie. This movie is hilarious from beginning to end. Nothing about it is ever boring, and it just keeps getting better and better as you're watching it. Not only is it really funny, but it's actually very moving seeing how much these two guys really love each other. I mean, yeah, there's so many things going on throughout the whole entire movie. They're trying to get laid, they're trying to express their feelings to other girls, but as soon as the movie starts, to the very end, all they could talk about is how they've grown up together, how they care about each other, and how they're not gonna go to college together. And it's really cool because all of the characters in this movie talk about how they've always been together and talk about how they might miss each other whenever they go off to college. Everyone knows it, and there are moments where you sort of feel like everyone knows about their strong friendship, maybe a little bit more than they do. I mean, I never thought that I would watch a movie about two best friends and just like have my heart melted seeing how much these two like really care about each other. The last scene in this movie is just heartbreaking and it's very, very moving. Just seeing these two guys go in separate ways inside the mall and how they just keep looking back at each other, you can just sense that there is something extremely powerful there between these two guys. If you guys haven't seen Superbad, definitely check it out. It is a must, it is necessary, it is the greatest bromance movie ever made, in my opinion. Well, there you go, you guys. 14 bromance movies. I know there's a lot more that I didn't mention, but these are definitely the 14 that are my favorite. If you guys have seen these movies, let me know what you guys think about them. But you guys can go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know your favorite bromance movie and why. Let me know what you guys think about my list. Hopefully most of you agree with me and love these movies just like I do. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching Gary Movie House. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Peace out, homies.